What's going on, YouTube? I just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about how I have been able to increase my Amazon sales over time, as well as some key moments where I really saw a spike in sales. So I've been selling on Amazon since July of 2018, and it is currently March of 2020, so for over a year and a half now. And in total, I've sold $4,362, which, yes, I am a smaller seller, but recently I've been selling a lot more, where as you can see, since May of 2019, I've sold consistently over $100 worth of items on Amazon, and with the majority of those months since then being over $200. Now, I sell mostly books on Amazon. I've been some miscellaneous times where I sold items that weren't books, but the vast majority of the items that I sell on Amazon are books. The first time that I really saw a spike in my sales was in January of 2019. And as you can see, before this, I have sold items on Amazon, but they were kind of inconsistent, right? This was the first time that I started having consistent sales, where I started averaging around this time selling about one item a week. Now, this was huge for me because this was the first time where I could, at least have some sort of dependable revenue from my side hustle. Now, any money that I did earn from selling on Amazon went directly back into inventory, especially at the time, but it was the first time where I could really just have a dependable source of revenue, which was a game changer for me. And what I did to get to that point was I started increasing the amount of inventory that I have. Consistent sourcing and listing is very, very, very critical. Around that time, I had about 100 items in my inventory, and that was when I started selling one item a week. Now, do you have to have 100 items in your inventory to start getting consistent sales? Not necessarily, right? The majority of my inventory was books that had a rank between 1 million and 4 million, which they sell, but they don't sell the fastest, right? They're items that do sell much, much faster. But that was when I started having consistent sales. And that is a trend that you see throughout my sales, right? As I've gotten more sales, as I've increased my inventory, I have gotten more sales. But with that being said, there are some things that have changed to help me sell items faster. Now, the next time where I personally noticed a spike in my sales was in July. The key thing that happened in July was I got my first 5-star review on Amazon, right? Before this, there's a little thing by my name, and it said new seller, and people don't really trust that a whole lot. I mean, a lot of people, especially with Amazon, how people compete literally by pennies. People are willing to spend a few extra cents for someone with a good reputation than someone that they're not sure if they can trust very much. When I got that first 5-star review, people started just trusting me more in general, and started to buy more inventory from me. And currently I have 5-star reviews, all 5-star reviews on Amazon, and that an increasing amount of 5-star reviews have led to increased sales. The next crucial time that I saw an increase in sales was in August 2019. The big thing that happened then was I sent my first box of inventory to be fulfilled by Amazon. Now, I'd always sold books merch fulfilled, and I just fulfilled them myself. That has benefits, right? Because there's less risk, right? You don't have to have the upfront cost of sending the book to Amazon, and you don't have to have the increased kind of complexity, figuring out how to merch fulfill or figuring out how to send books to Amazon, because Amazon does have specific requirements to have your inventory sold and fulfilled through them. You do feel a little more in control. But with that being said, though, what I didn't really realize is that, first off, when you do fulfillment by Amazon, and when Amazon fulfills your inventory, you can get the little Prime sticker, which is great because when people have Prime, and a lot of people have Prime, they are more likely to buy something that is with a little Prime sticker, especially considering that they pay X amount of dollars, for every 6 months or year for that membership. So with that being said, people are willing to pay a slight premium for an item that's fulfilled by Amazon. Also, stuff that's fulfilled by Amazon uses their logistics systems, so they can get it to the customer much, much, much faster. And that in turn makes it to where people are willing to pay a slight premium for your item. Also, people just tend to trust it a little bit more, I feel. Whenever Amazon is fulfilling it, at least they trust the process a little bit more because they're more used to getting items from Amazon as opposed to some random third-party seller, even though the inventory is owned by a third-party seller, it's delivered from Amazon. So people like that. And what I started to notice is that, not only are people willing to pay a slight premium, but people also are willing to buy the item more. This makes it to where the item actually sells faster, and these combine to make it to where, so how when you're like have a listing item and you're competing on pricing, like someone drops at 3 cents, you drop at 4 cents, it's kind of annoying. You make this where you're not as subject to those small differences in repricing. Yes, you still have to reprice to be competitive, but not as much, and also you have a competitive advantage beyond price compared to other sellers in that listing, especially if you're the only FBA seller for that listing. Now keep in mind, this present an additional risk because you just have to be more careful with the quality of your inventory. You have to be more thorough with your quality control, because if you're not thorough with your quality control, Amazon will be, and that does have potential to hurt you. But that was what led to the spike in sales in September. Now, with the FBA, just a quick note, it is important to keep in mind that it can take, up to a couple weeks for all your inventory to be ready to sell. The reason why is because, yes, you may send your inventory to X warehouse. They send it from that warehouse to other warehouses, which is an important consideration. Also, just keep in mind that the fees are much higher. But for me, I've also liked it because I save a lot of time. Like, it takes a lot less time to send a box of 28 books to Amazon than it does to send them out individually. Also, whenever something sells that I have to fulfill myself, I don't have to spend as much time looking for it, and I just have to worry about storing and moving the inventory. But that being said, that is when I noticed a spike in sales. Now, right here is when I started using Amazon FBA much more. Right here, I sent 1 box. During this time, I sent 3 boxes. During this time, I sent another 2 boxes. And between the past 2 days, I sent another 2 boxes of inventory to Amazon. So that means, they have a lot more inventory that's being fulfilled by Amazon, and that is making it to where there are a lot more items that people are going to buy, and that is going to lead, it has led to a massive increase in sales. Also keep in mind that this is revenue, not net profit, right? So the profit margins are a little bit lower with FBA, but this does consider how people are oftentimes willing to spend just a slight premium for items that are fulfilled by Amazon. And so as a general theme, though, what's led to an increase in sales, I said it before, but just inventory and sourcing, right? When you initially start out, you might have 10, 20 items in your inventory. 100 is a good goal, in my opinion, if you're not at that already. But currently, I have over 260 items in my inventory, and this is crucial because, if you look at an individual listing, it may take 3 or 4 months for that listing to sell. That's very, very common. But, if you have like a couple hundred items in your inventory, stuff is going to sell much, much, much faster. But one of the key events, though, is right here. I got a massive lot of books, like over 500 pounds worth of books. Most of those, only about 10% of those were actually worth selling. Most of them were duds. But that led to a massive increase in sales. And I sent those all to Amazon to be fulfilled by them. So that is what led to a massive increase in January, February, and thus far in March. And it's only March 10th as of today. These are extreme, so that has led to a massive increase in sales. But on that note, there really are things I can do to increase the amount of sales that I get further. So for one thing is I've never done any bulk. I've never done any pallet, anything. I've never done any just bulk inventory, anything, right? If I find some way to buy and sell inventory in bulk, that can lead to a massive increase in sales, because instead of having 100, 200 items, 200 SKUs, I might have 100 items, 1 SKU. I might have thousands of items in my inventory. Another thing that I could do is just, increase my sales a little bit more, get it to a point where it'd be consistent enough to where I can do the professional seller account. Right now, I sell less than 40 items a month, so I do the individual seller account. But so more than 40 items a month consistently, that will reduce my selling fees and increase my net profit margin, but also B, increase the amount that I can compete on prices, which will help me get more sales going forward. Also, I sell mostly books, right? Expanding into other categories especially in getting ungated, right? Because if I get ungated in a category, then I'm selling in something that other people can't, and the competition automatically just drops some, and I will have the potential to sell items that will hopefully help me get margins that are a little bit higher, or even sell items that will allow me to make more money, or just do more items in bulk. I'm not ungated in any categories, so those are just a few areas that personally I can do to get more sales. But with this being said, I hope that this is something that you can kind of relate to if you're a relatively small seller yourself. And I really hope that this provided you with the awesome food for thought, some value. Please like, subscribe, comment. Thank you. Have a great day.